Welcome to my channel, Old Coins History 333. In this video, I tell you about the United States of America Lincoln 1-cent penny, which are most valuable and rare. If you're interested, please subscribe my channel. Thanks. Top 1. The 1963 Lincoln 1-cent penny is a coin that many people overlook when they come across it in their spare change. After all, it's just a penny, right? But what if I told you that a 1963 penny could be worth thousands of dollars, and in some cases, even more than you could imagine? You might think I'm joking, but stick around, because in this video, we're going to uncover the surprising value of this humble little coin. The Lincoln cent, first introduced in 1909 to celebrate Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday, has been an essential part of American currency for more than a century. Its familiar design featuring Lincoln's portrait on the front and the iconic Lincoln Memorial on the reverse has remained one of the most beloved images in U.S. coinage history. However, not all pennies are created equal. While most 1963 pennies are worth exactly 1 cent, there are rare variations and minting errors that can make some of these coins worth far more than their face value. Let's talk about the 1963 Lincoln penny. In 1963, the United States Mint produced billions of pennies, which were used for day-to-day transactions across the country. These pennies were made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, just like most pennies of the era. But the truth is, the vast majority of 1963 pennies are mass-produced and don't carry any special features that would make them valuable. So, what makes the 1963 penny stand out from the rest? The key to a penny's value lies in its rarity and condition. Most of the 1963 pennies you'll come across are in what's called circulated condition. This means they've been used in daily transactions, and as a result, they show signs of wear and tear. These coins are typically worth just 1 cent, no more, no less. However, if you happen to find a 1963 Lincoln penny that's in uncirculated condition, meaning it looks almost as if it just came from the mint, you may be looking at a coin that's worth more than a penny. An uncirculated 1963 penny could fetch a price of a few dollars, especially if it's in pristine condition with no noticeable scratches, dents, or other imperfections. These coins are not as common as their worn counterparts, and collectors are willing to pay a premium for coins that have been well preserved. But even more interesting is the possibility of finding a 1963 penny with a rare minting error. The U.S. Mint isn't perfect, and mistakes happen during the coin production process. These errors can include things like double strikes, off-center strikes, and die cracks. Such errors make a coin much more interesting and desirable to collectors, as they are unique pieces of history that stand out from the thousands of perfectly minted coins. A 1963 penny with a double die error, for example, could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on the severity of the mistake and the coin's condition. One of the most fascinating things about coin collecting is that even small details can have a huge impact on a coin's value. In fact, the value of a 1963 penny can increase dramatically if it has certain rare characteristics. For example, pennies that were minted in certain locations or with specific die varieties can be worth more than the typical examples you'd find in circulation. A penny that was struck with a worn or cracked die, resulting in a blurry or doubled image, is considered a rarity, and that increases its value. Now, you might be wondering just how much a 1963 Lincoln penny could actually be worth. While most 1963 pennies are worth only a few cents, some of them have sold for staggering amounts at auction. In fact, a rare 1963 penny with an incredible minting error sold for an eye-popping amount of money at an auction in recent years. This particular penny, thanks to its rarity and uniqueness, sold for an unbelievable sum, setting a record for the most valuable 1963 penny ever sold. Ready for the jaw-dropping number? One rare 1963 Lincoln penny, with all the right characteristics and in pristine condition, was sold for $145,000. That's right, $145,000 for a single penny. It just goes to show how much value can be hidden in something that seems so ordinary at first glance. This remarkable sale serves as a testament to the power of coin collecting, where small, seemingly insignificant objects can carry extraordinary value if they possess the right combination of rarity, error, and demand. Whether it's a minting flaw, an exceptional grade, or a historically significant piece, the world of coin collecting is full of surprises, And the 1963 Lincoln penny is a perfect example of that. The next time you come across a 1963 penny, don't just toss it aside. Take a closer look. It might be worth far more than you think. And who knows? You could have a rare coin on your hands that might just be worth $145,000. Top 2. When it comes to coins, especially the humble penny, most of us probably don't give them much thought. After all, it's just 1 cent, right? But what if I told you that one specific penny, minted in 1966, could be worth far more than you'd ever expect? That's right, some Lincoln 1 cent pennies, while seemingly ordinary, can fetch astounding amounts of money depending on their rarity, condition, and unique characteristics. In this video, we're going to explore one of the most interesting coins in American numismatic history, the 1966 Lincoln penny. This coin was produced at a time when the United States Mint was working to meet the growing demand for currency, and millions of these pennies were struck in 1966. But like any mass production, not all of these coins are identical. Some of them have qualities that make them stand out from the rest, and in some cases, they can be worth hundreds, thousands, or even tens of thousands of dollars. The design of the Lincoln 1 cent penny hasn't changed much since it was first introduced in 1909. The front of the coin features the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, and the back shows the Lincoln Memorial, which was introduced in 1959. These are familiar images that have been on pennies for decades. However, what makes the 1966 penny interesting isn't necessarily its design, but rather the unique qualities that certain examples have. For most of us, when we think of a penny, we imagine a coin that's been circulating in our pockets, wallets, or purses. Over time, these coins accumulate scratches, dents, and wear from constant handling, which causes their value to be close to their face value, just 1 cent. But there's a catch. Some 1966 pennies didn't circulate quite as much. And this is where things get exciting for coin collectors. The 1966 Lincoln penny, in particular, can be valuable if it's in pristine condition. A coin that has barely been touched, with sharp details and no visible wear, can be worth far more than a typical penny. Coins like this are classified as uncirculated, meaning they were kept in pristine condition, often in rolls or mint sets, and have not been exposed to the same wear and tear as coins used in daily transactions. An uncirculated 1966 penny could easily fetch several dollars, depending on its condition and rarity. But there's more to the 1966 penny than just mint condition. Some of these coins were struck with rare errors, making them incredibly valuable to collectors. Errors occur during the minting process and can include things like double strikes, off-center strikes, or die cracks. These mistakes result in coins with unique features that make them stand out from the rest. And these errors can turn an ordinary penny into a highly sought-after treasure point. One of the most valuable types of error that collectors look for is the double die error. This occurs when a coin is struck more than once, causing a doubling effect on the design. In the case of the 1966 penny, a double die error could make the coin's features appear blurry or even duplicated. This type of error is rare and can increase a coin's value dramatically. In fact, certain 1966 Lincoln pennies with double die errors have been sold for thousands of dollars at auction, proving just how much collectors are willing to pay for such rare pieces. Another type of error that can significantly increase a penny's value is an off-center strike. When a coin is not properly aligned during the minting process, the design may appear shifted to one side, resulting in a coin that looks misaligned or off-center. These off-center pennies are highly desirable to collectors, and the rarer the error, the higher the value. While many 1966 pennies are still worth just 1 cent, certain specimens are considered highly valuable because of these minting errors and their excellent condition. So how much can a 1966 Lincoln penny actually be worth? Well, in some cases, these rare and pristine pennies have sold for astronomical amounts at auctions, far beyond their original value. In fact, the highest known sale for a 1966 penny with the right combination of rarity and condition reached an astounding price. One rare specimen, with a notable minting error and in pristine condition, was sold for a staggering $125,000. That's right, a single penny, which originally cost just 1 cent, was sold for $125,000. It's incredible to think that a coin so small and seemingly insignificant could be worth such a huge sum of money. So, The next time you come across a 1966 Lincoln penny in your spare change, take a closer look. It could be more than just another coin from the past. If it's in excellent condition or has a rare minting error, you could have a valuable piece of American history in your hands. Who knows? That 1 cent coin could end up being worth $125,000. Top 3. In the world of coin collecting, the Lincoln 1 cent penny is a staple in many collections. Most of us encounter them daily, not giving them much thought beyond their face value of just 1 cent. However, there's a fascinating story behind certain pennies, particularly the 1967 Lincoln penny, that could make you rethink the value of your spare change. A coin that's nearly 60 years old might just hold hidden treasure in the form of significant monetary value, if you know what to look for. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Over the years, the design has remained largely unchanged, with Lincoln's portrait on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. The 1967 penny, like many others, was made from a combination of copper and zinc, and millions of them were struck that year. At first glance, these coins may appear like any other penny you've seen. But as with most things in the world of numismatics, not all pennies are created equal, so what makes the 1967 Lincoln penny stand out? It's not the year itself that makes this coin rare or valuable, but rather its specific characteristics, condition, and potential minting errors that could make it worth much more than its face value. The 1967 penny, like many coins, was mass-produced and used in everyday transactions. Most of the 1967 pennies you come across are likely worn and damaged from years of use, which means they have little to no additional value beyond their 1 cent face value. But this doesn't mean every 1967 penny is just a throwaway coin. In fact, some of them are quite rare and have seen their value soar over the years. The value of a coin is often determined by two main factors: its rarity and its condition. A 1967 penny that's in excellent condition, that is, one that has been carefully preserved and has little to no visible wear, can be worth significantly more than a coin that's been circulating for decades. A coin that remains uncirculated, meaning it hasn't been used in everyday transactions and retains its original luster and sharp details, is much more valuable to collectors. If you happen to find a 1967 penny in pristine, uncirculated condition, don't expect it to be worth just 1 cent. Even without minting errors, uncirculated pennies can be worth a few dollars, especially if they're in impeccable shape. However, the true excitement for collectors lies in the rare specimens that have minting errors. These are the ones that can bring in the big bucks. Minting errors occur when a coin is struck incorrectly during the production process. These mistakes are often unintentional, but they can create highly sought-after coins for collectors. In the case of the 1967 penny, one of the most valuable types of error you can find is a double die error. This occurs when the coin is struck twice, creating a doubling effect on the coin's design. For example, the details of Abraham Lincoln's portrait or the lettering on the reverse side may appear blurry or doubled. These errors are rare and can increase a penny's value exponentially, making it a must-have for serious coin collectors. Another type of error that collectors often look for is an off-center strike. This happens when the coin isn't properly aligned during the minting process, causing the design to appear shifted to one side. These off-center pennies are also quite rare and can fetch a premium price depending on the severity of the error. So, what does all of this mean for the 1967 Lincoln penny's value? While most 1967 pennies are worth just their face value, the rare examples with minting errors or those in pristine condition can be worth a lot more. Some of these pennies have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auctions. But perhaps the most staggering example of a valuable 1967 penny occurred when one such coin, with the right combination of error and condition, was sold for an incredible amount. The most expensive 1967 Lincoln penny ever sold reached an unbelievable price at auction. One of these rare coins, with a significant minting error and in pristine condition, was sold for $118,000. That's right, a single penny, which originally cost just 1 cent, sold for $118,000. It's truly remarkable how a coin, seemingly so small and insignificant, could hold such incredible value when it has the right combination of rarity and historical significance. So, what does this mean for you? Next time you come across a 1967 penny in your spare change, don't just toss it aside without taking a second look. If the coin looks especially well preserved, or if you notice any unusual features like doubling or an off-center strike, you may be holding on to a rare treasure that could be worth much more than its face value. In the world of coin collecting, it's all about being in the right place at the right time. And who knows, that simple 1967 penny you find in your pocket could just be your ticket to a small fortune. So, the next time you see one of these pennies, take a closer look and remember, some coins are worth far more than their original price. In this case, $118,000. Top 4. In the world of coin collecting, some coins go unnoticed by most people, while others become prized treasures worth far more than their original face value. Take the 1971 Lincoln 1-cent penny, for example. On the surface, it may seem like just another penny, but in reality, this seemingly ordinary coin could be hiding an incredible value, especially for collectors and investors in the numismatic world. You've probably come across hundreds, if not thousands, of pennies throughout your life, and most of them are nothing special. However, there are some rare variations of the 1971 penny that can fetch astonishing amounts of money, and that's exactly what we're going to dive into today. Let's take a step back in time and explore the history of the 1971 Lincoln penny. This coin, like many others in the Lincoln cent series, features the famous portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the front, with the familiar Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. These features have made the Lincoln penny one of the most iconic coins in U.S. history. But the 1971 penny is particularly interesting, not because of its design, but because of what makes certain versions of it valuable. First, let's talk about how most pennies are valued. Generally, the coins that you come across in your daily life, whether they're from 1971 or another year, are not worth much more than 1 cent. This is because they've been in circulation for so long, and they've likely been worn down by the daily grind of commerce. But while the average 1971 penny might be worth only a fraction of a dollar, there's a chance that you could find one that's much more valuable, especially if it's in uncirculated condition or contains certain rare characteristics. For example, let's consider the condition of the coin. Most people don't realize that a coin's value isn't just determined by its age. It also depends heavily on how well it's been preserved. Pennies that are in near-perfect, uncirculated condition are much rarer than those that have been used in everyday transactions. These coins have sharp details and no signs of wear or damage. Uncirculated 1971 pennies, while still not extremely valuable on their own, can still be worth a few dollars, depending on their state. However, things get really interesting when we start talking about mint errors. Minting errors occur when something goes wrong during the production process, resulting in a coin with unique features that make it stand out from the rest. These errors are quite rare and often make a coin much more valuable to collectors. Some of the most valuable errors to look out for are things like double strikes, off-center strikes, and die cracks. And when it comes to the 1971 penny, there are certain minting mistakes that make this coin worth a fortune. One of the most coveted errors in the 1971 Lincoln penny is the double die error. A double die occurs when a coin is struck twice by the same die, creating a doubling effect on the coin's design. If you look closely at a 1971 penny with this error, you might notice that the details of Lincoln's portrait or the lettering on the reverse are doubled or appear blurry. This kind of error makes the coin much more interesting to collectors and adds to its value. If you happen to find a 1971 penny with this error, it could be worth significantly more than a regular penny. Another error that increases the value of a 1971 penny is an off-center strike. This happens when the coin is not properly aligned during the minting process, causing the design to be off-center. These coins have a unique appearance, with part of the design cut off or shifted to one side. Off-center 1971 pennies are incredibly rare and can sell for far more than their face value, especially if the error is noticeable and the coin is in good condition. But the most exciting part of the 1971 penny story is how much a rare example can sell for. While most of these pennies are worth just a few cents, some specimens, particularly those with minting errors or in excellent condition, have sold for astonishing amounts. The most valuable 1971 Lincoln penny ever sold went for an incredible amount of money, setting a record for this particular year. Are you ready to hear just how much a 1971 Lincoln penny could be worth? Well, hold on to your seat because one rare 1971 penny, thanks to a significant minting error and its excellent condition, was sold for $97,000. Yes, you read that correctly. A single penny, originally worth just 1 cent, was sold for $97,000. It's incredible to think how a coin so small and so seemingly insignificant could hold such immense value. So, the next time you find yourself with a 1971 penny, don't just toss it aside without giving it a second glance. If it's in great condition, or if it has any unique features like a double die error or an off-center strike, you could be holding on to something much more valuable than you think. You might just find yourself sitting on a rare coin that could fetch a life-changing amount of money. In the world of numismatics, the value of a coin can increase dramatically based on its rarity, condition, and unique characteristics. The 1971 Lincoln penny is a perfect example of this, with certain rare versions of the coin fetching prices far beyond their original value. So remember, don't overlook your change. That 1 cent could turn into $97,000. Top 5. When we think about coins, most of us don't give a second thought to the humble penny. After all, it's just a 1 cent piece that we often toss into a jar or forget about entirely. However, in the fascinating world of coin collecting, the 1973 Lincoln 1 cent penny is a coin that stands out, and it's not for the reasons you might expect. This coin, though seemingly ordinary, has a surprising story to tell, one that could make you rethink how you view your change. The 1973 Lincoln penny was part of a massive production run by the United States Mint, with billions of these pennies being struck that year. The design of the coin features the iconic portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, and on the reverse, we have the famous Lincoln Memorial, a symbol of the nation's history. The 1973 penny, like most pennies from this era, was composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc. While this particular penny may seem like just another piece of currency, there are rare variations of the 1973 penny that make it worth far more than its face value of 1 cent. When you come across a penny from 1973, it's easy to assume it's just like every other penny in circulation. But the truth is, not all 1973 pennies are created equal. While most of these coins are worth only 1 cent, the real value comes from the condition of the coin and any potential minting errors that make it stand out from the rest. Coin collectors and investors know that the value of a coin is determined by a few key factors: its rarity, its condition, and sometimes its history. In the case of the 1973 Lincoln penny, the condition plays a crucial role. If you come across a 1973 penny that is in near-perfect, uncirculated condition, it could be worth far more than its face value. Coins that have been kept in pristine condition without showing signs of wear or damage are considered uncirculated. These coins are highly sought after by collectors because they preserve the original details and shine of the coin, making them much rarer than pennies that have been used and worn down over time. An uncirculated 1973 penny can be worth a few dollars, depending on its exact condition. But here's where things get even more interesting: mint errors. Minting errors are mistakes that occur during the production process, and they can create some of the most valuable coins. A 1973 penny with a minting error, especially one that's rare, could be worth a lot more than a coin in perfect condition without any mistakes. These errors happen when a coin is struck incorrectly, which can result in features like doubling, misalignment, or other unique characteristics. One of the most valuable types of errors that collectors look for is the double die error. This occurs when a coin is struck more than once by the same die, causing a doubling effect on the design. In the case of the 1973 Lincoln penny, a double die error would result in a blurry or duplicated image of Lincoln's portrait or the lettering on the reverse. These kinds of errors are rare, and they make the coin much more desirable to collectors who are willing to pay a premium price for such a unique find. Another mint error that can increase the value of a 1973 penny is an off-center strike. This occurs when the coin is not properly aligned during the minting process, causing part of the design to be off-center or even missing entirely. These off-center strikes are rare, and if you find a 1973 penny with this kind of error, you might just have a valuable coin on your hands. The more extreme the off-center strike, the more valuable the penny becomes. So, how much could a 1973 Lincoln penny actually be worth? Well, while most 1973 pennies are worth only a few cents, there are rare examples that have fetched incredible prices at auction. Some of these rare 1973 pennies with minting errors or in exceptional condition have sold for tens of thousands of dollars. But the highest-known sale of a 1973 penny, featuring a remarkable minting error and in near-perfect condition, reached an astonishing amount. Are you ready for the big reveal? One rare 1973 Lincoln penny, thanks to its unique characteristics and incredible condition, was sold for a jaw-dropping price of $90,000. That's right, a single penny, originally worth just 1 cent, sold for $90,000. It's hard to believe that a coin so small, so seemingly insignificant, could fetch such a hefty price tag. But that's the beauty of coin collecting. The right coin in the right condition can become a treasure. The story of the 1973 Lincoln penny is a perfect example of how something as simple as a penny can hold great value if it has the right combination of rarity, condition, and error. So, the next time you come across a 1973 penny, take a moment to inspect it. If it's in great condition or has any unusual features like a double die error or off-center strike, you might be holding a rare find that could be worth far more than its original face value. In the world of coin collecting, it's all about the details. And that simple penny from 1973 could be worth a small fortune. You never know. That penny you find in your pocket could end up being worth $90,000.